Good morning, students. Today we are going to uh, learn about the last topic of the ionic equilibrium, that is the solubility product and the relationship between the solubility and the solubility product. So I am here going to share you the slides here. So here, so here in the last lecture, we are up to the solubility product and we derived this equation for the KSP. So KSP value for the general sparingly soluble salt is KSP is equal to the concentration of the cation B raised to By plus, that is the cation raised to power X, and the anion A minus X minus raised to power Y. So this is the about the equation for the solubility product for a general soluble salt, which is a sparingly soluble salt. Now using this KSP value, uh, derive the equation for the KSP for the different types of the sparingly soluble salt. But before that, you must know about the solubility of the salt. So the solubility of the salt, here is here is the relationship between the solubility and the solubility product. So solubility, for the solubility and the solubility product, you must know about the solubility. There are two types of the solubility. First is the molar solubility and the second one is the gram solubility. So what is mean by the gram solubility first? So number of the number of grams, or we can say the amount of the sparingly soluble salt in grams which is dissolved to give the 1 liter of the solution is called as a solubility in grams. Then molar solubility is the solubility of the salts, sparingly soluble salts, and which is related with the gram solubilities. Molar solubility is the number of moles of the compounds and that will be dissolved in the 1 liter of the solution. That is the molar solubility of any general sparingly soluble salt. Now this molar solubility, you can see here that this molar solubility is related with the solubility in grams with the equation that molar solubility is expressed in moles per liter is equal to solubility in grams divided by the molar mass in grams per liter. So simply solubility in grams divided by the molar mass, you get the molar solubility. Now we are going to derive the solubility product in terms of the solubility. So for this we are going to consider now again the sparingly soluble salt, general salt like BXAY, and which dissolves in the saturated solution, and if the S is the solubility, molar solubility of the salt, then the equation becomes BXAY. So BXAY is the salt and which gives you, or which will ionizes to give By plus raised to power X and A minus raised to power Y. So here what is Y and what is X? You know that for general salt BXAY, X is the number of cations and Y is the number of anions. So cation will be raised to power 2, its stoichiometric coefficient X, and anion A minus X minus will be raised to its stoichiometric coefficient Y. Here Y plus means cation is having the charges equal to number of anion, that is the Y plus. Anion A is having the charges, negative charges equal to number of cation X minus, so as to balance. So here if the salt BXAY is dissolved, its solubility is suppose S moles per liter, then it will gives you the cation XS X into S moles per liter, and the anion is Y into S moles per liter. This salt is a sparingly soluble salt. Okay. Now we know that the cations will be XS or X into S moles, and anion will becomes Y into S moles. Now we are going to apply the KSP values. So if you apply the KSP values to this equation in terms of the solubility, then KSP is equal to XS, that is the concentration of the cation, which is we have written in the square bracket, so it should be pronounced as the concentration of the cation XS raised to power S X, concentration of anion Ys raised to power Y. So overall we can say that X raised to X, Y raised to Y, and S raised to X plus Y. Getting this? X raised to X, Y raised to Y, and S raised to X plus Y. Okay. Now we'll go for the next, that is this is the important equation of the KSP in terms of the solubility. Now we can apply this to the different sparingly soluble salts. So let's see here. So let's begin with first, that is silver bromide. Silver bromide will gives Ag plus aqueous cation plus Br minus aqueous anion. You know that this is a sparingly soluble salt. The meaning is that the salt will in the solid state remains in the solid state, very few, very less number of cations and anions will dissolve into water, and they are in equilibrium with the silver bromide, which is in the precipitate form or the solid form. So this is the dissociation for the sparingly soluble salt. Now for this equation, if you apply the KSP, then you get here KSP is equal to S into S, that is the S square, because here the number of cations is 1 and number of anion is also 1. So instead of writing X a 1 raised to 1 or 2 1 raised to 1, again the anion, and S raised to 1 plus 1, that is, so simplify it is S raised to becomes S raised to 2. So KSP for the simple types of the salt like AgBr is S square in terms of the solubility. So KSP value in terms of solubility for silver bromide becomes S square. Now second type of salt, if you take the example like CaF2, then CaF2 is again the sparingly soluble salt S, and it will gives you the cations Ca2 plus aqueous plus 2F minus aqueous. Now here the Ca2 plus, that is the cations are 1, number of cations is 1, number of anions are 2 here. Now if you apply again the KSP, you get here the formula for KSP is equal to X raised to X, Y raised to Y, and S raised to X plus Y. So 1 raised to 1 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2. 1 is here cation, 2 is here anion, and S raised to 1 plus 2. So overall it becomes 4S cube. Overall it becomes 4S cube. Now we'll go for the next, that is called as a chart. Here I'm going to uh, presenting here the chart here. Uh, in this chart, there are columns like example type and KSP. So it becomes very easy to learn about the KSP values of different sparingly soluble salt if you know the type of the salt. So it's very easy. So instead of writing the KSP value, it's very easy to predict the KSP in terms of the solubility from this given table. So if you take the example, suppose BaSO4, so just count the number of cation and anion. So here this is the BaSO4. Count here the number of cation and anion is 1 and 1 here. So the type of the salt becomes Ba. We know that our general type of salt is BXAY here. So here B is 1, A is 1. That means the type of the salt becomes Ba. That means 1 cation and 1 anion. So if it is 1 cation, 1 anion, if you put this in this formula or general formula, you get directly the KSP is equal to S square. So for the general type like Ba type of the salt, 1 cation anion, directly the KSP values are S square. If you take another example like PbI2 here, So Pbi2, the number of cation is 1, Pb2 plus anion, that is I minus, Y is equal to 2. There are two iodide ions. So the type of the salt becomes Ba2, 1 cation, 2 anion, and Ksp value now becomes 4s cube. This is same as that of the PbI2. So PbI2, CaF2, same type of salt Ba2, and the values Ksp will becomes 4s cube. Now if you take the third type of the salt, it is type of the salt, okay, and here aluminum hydroxide. So Al3 plus, but X is equal to 1, 1 cation, and hydroxide ions are 1, 3, sorry, hydroxide ions are 3 here. So here the type of the salt becomes Ba3, Ba3. So if you put the value in this general formula, you get directly the 27s4, 27s raised to the power 4. So this is the directly the formula for the Ksp value for the general type of the salt Ba3. Ba3 means 3 anion, 1 cation. Now here in case of Ba2 also, if there is a 2 cation and 1 anion, then also the same formula 4s3. 2 cation, 1 anion, the formula also becomes 4s3. Now in case of Bi2s3, in case of Bi2s3, here the number of cations are 2, the number of anions will become 3. S3, sulfide is 3. Bi2 this much 2 plus, so it is 2. It is written Bi2, 2, so it becomes 2. B2A3, then the type becomes B2A3. Cation is 2, anion will become 3. So if you put the in the general formula, you get here the relationship as 100 and 108 s raised to 5. So if you know the S value, solubility values for this type of the salt, you can find out Ksp, or if you know the Ksp value, you can find out the S, that is the solubility value. So this is the relationship between the Ksp values and S values here. And if you know the type of the salt, means how many cations, how many anion from this, and you are able to calculate the Ksp values. If you know the solubility, or if you know the solubility, you are able to calculate the Asp value. Okay. Now we'll go for the next, that is called as a condition for the precipitation. Now what is the difference between the ionization ionic product, sorry, ionic product, and what is mean by the solubility product? Because we are in the definition also we are given the statement that it's the ionic product, the product of the cations and anion, that is the ionic product. So what is the difference between the ionic product and the Ksp product? So ionic product is the product of the ions, that is cation and anions, for the given sparingly soluble salt or any salt at any condition. So it is simply the product of the ions, cations and anions. So if you take the product of their concentration, it becomes ionic product. But Ksp is the special case for the ionic product. Means Ksp is the limiting value for the ionization product. Sorry, for the ionic product. Ksp is the limiting value of the ionic product. Means if you increase the value of ionic product to a certain limit, then after that limit, if there is an increase in the concentration of either of the cation or the anion, then the salt is precipitated. Then the salt is precipitated. Okay, and if it is equal, if the ionic product is equal to that of the Ksp value, then the solution is saturated. Solution does not precipitate, but it becomes saturated. So it is a limiting case or limiting value of ionic product is called as a solubility product for your understanding. So as to understand. Now you know that when ionic product exceeds the solubility product is having the fixed value. These are the values for this type of sparingly soluble salt. And if the ionic product exceeds the values of ionic product is more than that of the Ksp, then the salt is going to precipitate out. The compound is going to precipitate. So this is the condition. So these are condition for the precipitation, and if it is less, then it will not precipitate. If the ionic product is less than that Ksp value, then the solution will not undergo precipitation. It remains, the solution remains as it, the ions remains as it, It is called as a now unsaturated solution. So saturated solution, unsaturated solution, and the condition for the precipitation is this. So this is all about the ionic product and the Ksp value. So Ksp is nothing but again the ionic product only, but having the limiting case that above this the ions are going to be precipitated. Now how the ion are precipitated? Sorry, how the salt will precipitate out. So if there, suppose if example is silver bromide, then if there is a concentration of Ag plus and Br minus, and if there is an increase in the concentration of either of the Ag plus or the Br minus, and if it crosses the Ksp value, then the salt will precipitate out. That is AgBr will precipitate out. The salt is here AgBr. It will precipitate out. The ionic product is the concentration of Ag plus and the concentration of Br. So this is the example, and this is very important concept to understand. And then we go for the next, that is called as a common ion effect. This is the last uh, topic of the this chapter, and after this the part which remaining part is omitted. So this is the last topic, and then we are going to stop here. So ionization, what is meant by ionic effect? Common ion effect. The ionization of the statement for this is the ionization of weak electrolyte is suppressed by the addition of a strong electrolyte having common ion to the weak electrolyte. So if there is a weak electrolyte and it is having the common ion with that of the strong electrolyte, so by the addition of the strong electrolyte, the ionization of weak electrolyte is decreased or suppressed. So most of the salt will remain in the undissociated form. It is suppressed means it remains in the undissociated form. So, so this is called as a common ion effect. We will explain this with the example of a weak acid here, acetic acid. So weak electrolyte means either it could be the acid or it could be the base. So weak electrolyte here is acetic acid, and here we are adding, suppose, the sodium acetate. Sodium acetate is a salt and it is a strong electrolyte. It is having the common ion in both this. The common ion is here is a acetate ions. So if we, this is the ionization of for the acetic acid CH3COO minus aqueous plus H plus aqueous. And we know that if the acid is a weak acid, most of the part is remains in the undissociated form or the molecular form, and very less are going to be ionized as the ions, cations and the anions. Now here the ionization, this is acetic acid in the large concentration of course, and here sodium acetate, the dissociation of sodium acetate is given by the acetate ion CH3COO minus aqueous plus Na plus aqueous. Now here this is completely ionized, so here it is single arrow, and here it is going to be very less. The dissociation is very less, so it is single-headed double arrow. So most of the parts remain here in the form of undissociated molecules in the large concentration. Here the large concentrations are of acetate ions. So acetate ions are having the large concentration because it is completely dissociated to give the Na plus ion also and the large concentration of acetate ion also. So if you add to this weak electrolyte, a strong electrolyte like sodium acetate, then the concentration of acetate ion is increased. If the concentration of acetate ion is increased, then it will combine with that of the H plus ion and it will give back the undissociated acetic acid. And if more and more undissociated acetic acid is formed, then we can say that the degree of dissociation means its dissociation is suppressed. Its dissociation is decreases, its dissociation is suppressed. So this is called as a common ion effect. You can also explain the same common ion effect having the example of more NH4OH, that is the weak base, and NH4Cl, that is the strong salt, that is the strong electrolyte, that is the salt. So in the similar way, we can explain this, and they are having the common ion, that is NH4 plus. So this is all about the common ion effect, and I think we have um, finished this chapter, and we'll take one or two example and That is the end of this chapter ionic equilibrium. Here the reddish portion is this, to make a clear notation here. And we are taking three example. First one is calculate the pH of 0.01 molar H2SO4. So if you are taking H2SO4, you know that it first write down its dissociation twice of H plus sulfate and SO4 2 minus. So each one mole of H2SO4 or one molecule of H2SO4 gives you 2H plus ion, double H plus ion. So even if the concentration is 0.01, the H plus ion concentration becomes 2 into 0.01. That becomes 0.02. Okay, and then you calculate the pH. So if any acid, either it is strong or weak acid is given, we are explaining this for the strong acids. If weak acid is given, it's very easy. H plus ion concentration is alpha into C. For the weak acid, we have already discussed this. So for the strong acid, find out the first H plus ion concentration depending upon the dissociation, or if it is diabasic, simply if it is diabasic means 2H2, if it is monobasic means 1H plus, and if it here also mono means it is 1H plus. So because of this di, it forms 2H plus ion. So or if you can write simply the dissociation you get here, if 2H plus then multiply just concentration by the 2, you get 0.02, and find out the pH. pH is equal to, formula is minus log of H plus ion. Put the value of minus log of 0.02. Now here it is very clear that we are finding the minus log of H plus ion, and that is nothing but the pH. That is nothing but the pH. So don't find out the, in the end, the antilog. Don't find out the antilog here, because we are finding just the pH, and pH is nothing but log of minus log of H plus ion. So minus log of 2 into 10 raised to minus 2. Minus log of 2 into 10 raised to minus 2. So it becomes minus log of 2 plus minus log of 10 raised to minus 2. I am just taking a simple method here, minus log of 2, and if you open this bracket, this becomes minus, and this also become minus, and this minus. So minus log of 2, and this is minus log of 10 raised to minus 2. I am here represented with this rate here. So minus log of 10 raised to minus 2, you know this, it is 2. Minus log of 2. Log of 2 is very easy, 0.3010. So remember this value, log of 2 is 0.3010. So 2 minus 0.3010 becomes 1.699. So pH is 1.69. Then for 0.01 HCl, it's very easy. HCl dissociate to 1H plus plus Cl minus, and H plus is equal to now concentration. What is concentration is 0.01. That is 10 raised to minus 2. So take this in the power of 10, it becomes very easy. So minus log of, if it is whole number, if it is whole number, if it is fraction, then in the textbook it is given how to find out the fraction power. If the power is fraction like 2.5 or 3.5, then how to find it is given in the textbook also. So pH is equal to minus log of concentration of H plus, so minus log of 0.01 here, so it becomes minus log of 10 raised to minus 2. It's very easy, it is 2. This is negative, negative becomes positive, log of 10 raised to 2 is 2. Okay, and now concentration of 0.02 now. If it is 0.02 of HNO3, then H plus is very easy, 2 into 0.01. So it becomes H plus is equal to 0.02 and pH is equal to 1.6999. So H plus ion concentration is, I am not taking here, it is wrong, it is written here, this step is wrong. So it is H plus ion concentration is simply 0.02, and pH is equal to, which we have calculated for 0.02, it is similar 1.699. If it is 0.02, pH is 1.699, it is definite, it is fixed. So some values are fixed. You should know about the log of 2 and log of 3 also. Then we go for the one last problem here about the solubility product of sparingly soluble salt is AX, means type of the salt, if it is AX is 5.2 into 10 raised to minus 3, means solubility product is given. You have to find out the solubility in terms of moles per cubic decimeter. KSP is given as 5.2 into 10 raised to minus 3. And if the type of the AX salt means BA type, 1 cation, 1 anion, X is equal to 1, Y is equal to 1, Ksp is equal to 1 raised to 1, 1 raised to 2, S raised to 1 plus 1, that is S square. Simply 1 cation, 1 anion, Ksp is equal to S square. S square is equal to 5.2 into 10 raised to minus 3. Ksp is given here, that is S square. So find out the value of S. Take the square root of 52. I am taking here the simple calculation. I am taking here the root of 52 and I am increasing here minus 14. So minus 14, the square root of 10 raised to minus 14 becomes 10 raised to minus 7. I have shifted this decimal point becomes 52 and shifting the decimal point becomes minus 14. Square root of minus 14 is 10 raised to minus 7. So overall the square root of 52 is 7.211 and into 10 raised to minus 7. So this is S is equal to 7.211 into 10 raised to minus 7 moles per cubic decimeter. This is the by solving the square root. If you don't know how to solve the square root, you can take 1 by 2 log of 52 and then find out its antilog. 1 by 2 log of 52 and then find out its antilog. The value is 7.211. You can tally this and this way you can solve the problem on the KSP. And now this is the end of this chapter of the ionic equilibrium, and in the next lecture we will go for the next